Hey everyone, it is February 16th. Valentine's Day has come and gone. And so I think we now need to report back on a report card for Valentine's Day. Jaden, how did you do?
Well, I have two young kids and a pregnant wife, and so we were in bed by 8 o'clock. We just had a nice kind of evening at home, but nothing special. But it's so Brazilian Valentine's Day is actually a different day than Canadian Valentine's Day. So I always tell her that I'm going to make it up on that day, and then I just forget. So I'm not the best Valentine.
You need to put it in your calendar.
Yeah, I know. I'm not the best Valentine. I try and make it up on a daily basis, but on that particular day, it's not our number one day, that's for sure.
No, I don't know. You'll have to ask Natalie how I did, but my whole feeling on Valentine's Day is if you need a particular day to show your spouse that you love them, then maybe you have bigger issues.
You have other challenges.
And what you're saying about Brazil is the greeting card company there chose a different day to celebrate Valentine's.
Absolutely. Yeah, the greeting card and chocolate company came together and they said, you know what, it's the middle of summer down there. Everything's gonna melt. Let's push this off to winter. It'll be way better.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then 9 months after Valentine's Day in Brazil, there's lots of babies born.
Lots of babies born. Yeah.
All right. Well, I digress.
We've gone in another direction.
Yeah, let's pull this back, people. All right. So we had another good week for solds and new listings. I think it was a very balanced week, very balanced last couple of weeks, really, when you look at it. And if you look at the last 5 weeks, we've been pretty balanced the last 5 weeks. So sales to new listing ratio of 107%. Days on market dropped a little bit. It is actually higher than last year when Natalie covers the next slide for us, when we look back at a year ago this week. But still, if we look at the progression here from January all the way through now till the middle of February, days on market has really dropped significantly. Price reduced of 85. Why are there still price reductions happening when there's such limited inventory? We're going to discuss that a little bit in that whole is the market wilting thing. But in general, you still have to come onto the market with a price that's correct, right? You can't, it's not last May, April, May, June. You have to come on to the market with a price that is appropriate for the market that we're in. Active detached 990, very similar, a little bit up from last week. Total active with all the segments up about 100 there from last week. So seeing, really, if you look at the last 5 weeks, again, we were at 2,000 5 weeks ago, and we're 2,031 now. It really isn't changing a whole lot. And they'll throw it over to you, Natalie, to look back at a year ago.
All right. So a year ago, we've gone down 44% in total sales, which is obviously we're seeing that in the previous slide. New listings is down 48%. So now's the time to list your house if you want to get a good top dollar for that. Active listings are down 13%. And days on market is down 20%. It's gone from 25 last year to 30. But as we saw, that's actually come down from even a month ago. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I found this very interesting, and there's the screenshot of a headline on the Globe and Mail last week. Calgary home prices cut 3 times as market wilts. Oh my goodness, it's like the National Enquirer. So I thought, I was immediately thrown off by this headline, and I read the story and things like that. And they do these with these homes in the Globe and Mail. They highlight, this is the home, this is what it looks like, this is what it's sold for. But I found this is, to me, irresponsible journalism. Now, when we take a deeper dive in Bridlewood, because that's where this house was, so let's look at Bridlewood. Bridlewood, January of 2023, the detached benchmark price was up 12% year over year. And you say, okay, well, that's great, Mark. That's right before the market went bananas. How about from December? So, okay, so here's a stat. It's down 0.004%. Like it was $2,000 of detached benchmark price that it was down from December 2022. Sales are down 64%. Inventory is down 11%. Months of supply is now up to 3 there. So that, I would say, okay, we have a little bit more supply. months of supply at 3, I would still place that in a seller's market. And I believe the people that are much smarter than me do that as well at 3 months of supply. What's our inventory like, right? Because if our inventory is growing and there's no sales happening, okay, maybe the market is wilting. There's a total of 18 homes on the market in Bridlewood right now. 8 of those are pending conditional sales. So almost 50% of them are sold. Now, I would comment on this particular listing. They did a couple of price reductions, and they make a comment in the story that they came on with a price that was maybe a little bit too aggressive. And that's what I would agree with as well. And when we come on with a price, doesn't matter if it's my listing or Joe Blow or whoever, if you go too high, you just really don't get the showings, and you certainly don't get the offers. Mm-hmm. So I just thought this was interesting. I personally do not think the market is wilting. I think it has changed from a year ago. For sure it has. We don't have the interest rates that we did. And this is me editorializing now. This is my opinion only, not the opinion of the Calgary Real Estate Board or eXp Realty. But there's your disclaimer. But here's a perfect example. Natalie, we put a house on the market here in Woodbine on Friday. And how many showings and offers did we have?
Starting with showings at 2 p.m. on Friday and ending at 7 p.m. on Saturday, we had 17 showings and 5 offers.
Yeah. They were all
of them were listed.
Yeah, and we unfortunately can't get into details about the actual offers and what the price is because it's conditionally sold. But suffice to say that our sellers are very happy. Now, some people would say, well, Mark, you listed it too low. No, we didn't, because the offers that we got, 3 of them were right around asking price. And then we had 2 that were super aggressive. And that's pretty typical. When you list it around market, you're going to get a couple of 2-3 offers right around asking, maybe a little bit higher. And you always have the people that have the wherewithal to go quite a bit higher. And it could be the people that bought it actually were looking down in budget, right? And so they said, okay, well, really, we can afford $750, so we're going to go a little bit hog wild here. So anyway, I wanted to bring this up because I saw the headline and it just kind of bothered me. I don't think it's accurate, right? And we've been saying that, Jaden, prior to Natalie joining us on this program. And really,
absolutely.
We've been saying that for years now. Don't listen to national media when they talk about the Calgary real estate market. So over to you, Jaden.
No, absolutely. And so, that national media has actually been playing with our interest rates a little bit here, and not just the national media, but we just heard last week, January new jobs in Canada. Sorry, I'm flaking there, but new jobs in Canada. There was 150,000 new jobs in Canada in January of 2023, about 10 times what they were expecting with the slowdown of the economy. And then this is just really, so are we going to have more interest rate rises? Is the economy doing better than we thought it was doing? So what happens with that is, all of fixed rates are based on the bond market, right? And the bond is just the market reacting to things going on around there. And so bond rates went up relatively substantially. And so we've seen rates go up on the fixed side a little bit as well, but it hasn't gone up as substantially as the bond market because of all of this uncertainty. They've already got a bigger spread from the bond market than they normally would, right? So they've kind of built that in. We saw 5-year fixed go up between 0.05 and 0.1% over the last week. Not a huge change, not going to drastically change your mortgage payment, maybe somewhere, depending on how big it is, on a $500,000 one, you may be looking at another $50 a month, maybe a bit less than that, right? So nothing hugely drastic there, but it is interesting how these things going on in the background, like you say, and it's all, what does it look like, right? And so people look at that 150,000 jobs and they go, wow, what's going on? Well, what I'll tell you is going on is record immigration like we've never had before. And those people need to work. And a daycare system that we've never had in this country that makes it accessible for everybody. You try and get your kid in daycare right now, you can't. And so that, alongside inflation like we've never seen it, in our lifetimes anyway, and pricing going up, people's mortgages are going up, their gas and groceries and everything else are going up. And, that household that has been surviving on one person going to work, all of a sudden is going, well, I have subsidized daycare from the government. I can get my kid in there, a couple $100 a month. I can go to work and I can actually be helping solve this problem. So we're seeing a lot of that happening. When I talk to, I follow economists, I talk to my cousin who's a great broker, follows different economists than I do, really see that kind of is kind of a lagging thing, right? And so I think rates are going to stay where they're at for a little while because of numbers like this. There's going to be something where some kind of number falls off a cliff eventually, and then rates are going to start shooting down. We don't know if that'll be, third quarter, fourth quarter, 2024, but that's going to happen. And we'll kind of, again, not speaking for Avenue Financial or any of the other stuff, but that's when we're going to start seeing those rates back again in between that 2.5% and 3.5% that is really fit for the Canadian economy and the amount of debt that we have.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jaden.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are talking about minimalist design ideas for a bedroom sanctuary. So when you consider we spend a third of our lives in bed, it's sort of important to have a comfortable room.
Some more than others.
Yeah, I try to make it at least half.
Exactly. So basically the theory is that less is more, right? It's going into quality over quantity in a bedroom, especially. You want it to be soothing and peaceful and allow you to sleep comfortably at night. So this one is talking about matching your nightstands to your floor finish. And this is a big one because it does sort of soothe the space. This picture in particular, they did very monotone, which is very synonymous with minimalism. So they did sort of a monochromatic palette and it just sort of blends in. It's very, very calming. The next one is creating a subtle wall accent. So this is for people like me that have a bit of a maximalist bent to my design taste. So this sort of keeps it still very soothing, but allows that wall to pop. And it just makes that the feature of the room. The next one is going for statement lighting. Now, obviously, this is a gigantic light fixture, so you need a high ceiling for it. But it's such a cool piece, and it really is sort of the focal point other than that cool headboard. But it's about having like a frosted glass and making sure you have uniformity between every light that's in the room. And it's very soothing. So at night, you put in a dimmer. It's glowing really pretty. Just, it's a lovely piece. So this again, if you are a maximalist, you can not be afraid of color. It doesn't mean you fill your room with stuff, but it's adding pops of color in your bedding and in your artwork, something that's cohesive with each other. That big, beautiful rug, it just makes it's a happy thing for me. This is the last one, adding depth with a big bed frame. So we all know there's a lot of gigantic houses now, and they have big rooms, big master bedrooms or primary bedrooms, pardon me. Something like this really focuses with that big, tall bed frame. It almost looks like a bookshelf in there, like it's like a shelf system. So It really adds some depth to it, because if you just put a regular bed in that room, it'll just get swallowed up. So, and that's my show for today.
Yes, Natalie's design corner for this week.
Natalie's design corner.
All right, we'll wrap things up today again with community events. So that Penguin Walk is on. We got the Fishtival, not festival. It'd be the Festival. But again, super cool. You can see what's happening at the Bow Habitat Station. There's Hot Chocolate Fest happening. There's also an app that you can then vote on your favorite hot chocolates. If you go to Global Calgary and their events page, you can download the app from there. There's the Calgary Home and Garden Show happening February 23rd to 26th. So that would be next week, correct? And then I wanted to throw a special shout out here to the Calgary Wranglers. So Natalie and I have been to a couple of games actually over the last few weeks. And if you don't know what the Calgary Wranglers are, they are the farm team of the Calgary Flames. Now, when I went online at, I'm just going to leave that up for a sec, but when we went online to look at tickets it was the Oilers game over the Christmas holidays. I believe that the press level seats just for that Oilers game were like $200 each or something. Which is ridiculous. Like, and I watch, as Jaden knows, Natalie knows, I pretty much watch every Flames game. And I'm like, well, why don't we go check out the Wranglers? Like, it seems like it's professional hockey. They're paid hockey players, and they're all the guys that are up and comers and some guys that have been kind of playing more in that league for a while. So we went to the game when they played Bakersfield, which is Edmonton's farm team. Super fun. They do all the entertainment that you get at a Flames game. And that particular game, we paid, we got 4 tickets.
It's $26 a ticket.
Yeah, it's $26 a ticket. And we were sitting in the club section. Not that it makes a difference, but the seats are more comfortable. And then we went actually on Valentine's. So that's what we did for Valentine's. We went to Dutton's Lounge and had some supper. And then we went to the game. They played the Abbotsford Canucks. And we sat actually even lower down And on Tuesdays, so there's a couple of Tuesday games still left, I believe, if not one for sure. And those tickets are 2 for 1. So we paid $30 for 2 tickets to a professional hockey game. And great game. They, they beat Abbotsford that night, and then they lost the next night, and that's fine. Like it's not so much about the wins and losses; it's about watching the up and coming younger players, and we get to see probably our goalie of the future. But without getting into a sports rant, if you want to take your family to a professional hockey game in Calgary, and you're just like you can't believe the Flames ticket prices, the Wranglers are a great option. There's parking. There's everything's there, and then they have like happy hour pricing and on food and drinks and stuff. So it's a really cool thing, and I don't think a lot of people know about it. Like even that game against the Edmonton farm team, there was maybe 4,000 people there. So
well, and that's my son always wants to go. He calls it the hockey Flames game. He wants to go to the hockey, and we've gone to a couple of Flames games, but it is you're $200 or $300 by the time the night is done, right? And so, and I'd love to take him to more. That's a great idea. Like you say, you see Dustin Wolf, Connor Zary, some of these guys will be playing on the Flames one day. Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And as Natalie's daughter said, she goes to Mount Royal, and they went to the Crowchild Classic when they played the UFC, but there's no fighting in university hockey. She was very disappointed.
She wanted the fighting. I was like, you should go to a Wranglers game because they
exactly. All right, guys. Well, that was a great show. Thanks everyone for watching either now live or later on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll be talking to you next week when it's maybe just a hair cooler from what I looked at. Not looking forward to that.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. No.
All right, guys. See you in 7 days.
Bye.